Aquaba, welcome back. If you are just joining us, this episode of Mwalimu Dropping the Knowledge explores the connections of our artistic creations that speak, inspire, and inform us with the best of our cultural values, standards, and aspirations. It is part 2 of the progressive artistic movement, focusing on the writers of revolutionary literature. It was certainly revolutionary to believe that Black people had a unique culture that was beautiful and worthy of preservation. But that was exactly the feeling of Zora Neale Hurston. Born in 1891, Zora was an anthropologist, folklorist, and best-selling Harlem Renaissance novelist. She studied and documented the folkways of Southern Black people expressed through the oral tradition in our own dialect, highlighted in folk tales, sermons, and family histories. Without Zora Neale Hurston's deeply held belief that our ways were worthy of preservation, we would have lost a rich historical aspect of ourselves. This is why our writings, our voices, and perspectives are so important. We must affirm ourselves for our children's sake. The Harlem Renaissance set the stage for cultural production and conscious raising literature globally. As mentioned in the last segment, the Harlem Renaissance movement inspired the Negritude movement, but also inspired writers from the West Indies who began emerging in the 1950s. They also wrote about the same themes from their vantage point: oppression, struggle, and liberation, along with the beauty of nature and Caribbean culture. Caribbean dialect is a unifying feature of many of these writers. The list of notable writers in the Caribbean is extensive, and from virtually all of the islands, including Jamaica Kincaid from Antigua, Robert Atoni from the Bahamas, Kamal Braithwaite and Polly Marshall of Barbados, Eric Walround of Guyana, Rosa Guy and Errol Hill of Trinidad and Tobago, and Edwidge Dandicat of Haiti. Many of the writers of the Caribbean are studied at the university level for their analysis and themes of exile, colonialism, post-colonialism, racial identity, self-determination, and, of course, culture. This exalted group of writers includes Martinique's global icons Amy Chagir and France Fanon, Trinidad's C.L.R. James, Guyana's Walter Rodney and Ivan Van Sertima, and Jamaica's Orlando Patterson, Claudia Rankin, and of course, Marcus Garvey. While all of the islands have writers of note, Jamaica and Cuba can boast lengthy lists of world-class writers. Conscious-minded, creative writers brought themes of Black life into their work as playwrights, illuminating both hardships and beauty. The works of African-American playwrights Lorraine Hansberry and August Wilson continue to be performed long after their transitions. Caribbean playwrights are numerous, from Trevor Rohn and Barry Reckert of Jamaica to Marina Maxwell of Trinidad. Derek Walcott from St. Lucia won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1992. Again, all of these playwrights, who were also novelists and poets, sought to give voice to the attitudes, expressions, struggles, and aspirations of their people, our people, from the continent to the diaspora. Speaking of novelists, in Bermuda, our own Florence Webb Maxwell has written the award-winning novel Girl Cop, a fictional account of the real-life 1959 theater boycott with a teenage girl as protagonist. According to one review, Girl Cop takes you beyond the image of Bermuda as a piece of paradise and charts a narrative of resistance, hope, and the importance of fighting for change. Indeed, Girlcott won second prize in the 2016 Burt Award for Caribbean Literature. This episode on revolutionary literature would not be complete without a discussion of African-American novelist and editor Toni Morrison. Born in 1931 in Lorain, Ohio, Morrison's work was groundbreaking on a number of levels. Before becoming an influential writer, she was an influential editor, the first Black woman senior editor at Random House's fiction department. Morrison did not waste the opportunity to bring Black literature into mainstream book publishing, nurturing a generation of novelists and poets, among them Toni K. Bambara. She tapped African-American icons to write their own stories, Muhammad Ali, Angela Davis, and Black Panther founder Huey Newton. Morrison's own novels forthrightly addressed the imposition of white supremacy that brought physical and psychological distress for Black people. Winning nearly every prestigious and significant literature award, Morrison was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction for Beloved in 1988 and the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1993. Additionally, she was awarded numerous international honorary doctorates. France bestowed the honor of Parisian Commander of the Arts and Letters to Morrison in 1993. President Barack Obama awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2012. Toni Morrison made transition almost immediately following the release of the illuminating documentary about her life, Toni Morrison, The Pieces I Am, in 2019 at the age of 88. We'll be right back.